Quick thing I'm going to mention before I get into this video once again, no release date has been announced, but don't worry, I'll keep everybody up to date as soon as there is a date. Now to the video. In Session's next update, 0.0.0.6, we got a brand new setting that I think a lot of you are going to really like, and if you don't already know what it is the advanced settings. This is going to be the stats menu. This is where you're going to be able to tweak everything. You got stuff like your max pop height, your low pop height, flip speed, and this is not just going to be for PC. This will also be on Xbox as well. So don't worry, this isn't a mod or anything. It's actually in the game. PC and Xbox will be getting the exact same update. So for right now, you're going to have 3 custom presets that you can make. So you can have one crazy like that. Everything's like full except for gravity because that's completely off. There's going to be a default preset too, so you don't have to worry about, setting everything to default by yourself. I'm going to get into these one by one, show you side-by-side comparisons between the default and then the max setting and then I was going to call it empty setting, the lowest setting. Starting with the gravity, so here it is on the default setting. We're just going to go for the love gap right here. And just gap it like that. And then end up all the way back here because I didn't set a marker. So I'm going to turn this all the way up so that we're really heavy. Now when I ollie this, I'm going to be a lot heavier. So I probably won't make it. No, I didn't make it. And then let's change it all the way down so we have no gravity. So here's the pop. And there you go. You can make it very easily. You just kind of float for a while. The good thing is you don't just go straight to space as soon as you pop. Get some pretty good hang time on your flip tricks. Up next is push speed. When you increase this, you can reach your top speed faster. So a demonstration on regular settings. I'm going to lower it for the next demo. So as you can see, I'm pushing a lot slower now. And yes, you can do casual pushes. You don't always have to mash. And I'm going to turn it all the way up and we'll see how fast we go. There you go. Now that was just the default speed. So we reached the default speed faster. So when you change max push speed all the way up to the fastest it'll go, watch how fast we can go now. That's a lot faster, and I gapped it a lot farther. I'm gonna change this all the way to the end, and I'm gonna end up going a lot slower. Yeah, look at how slow that's pushing through sand. Nice little casual pushes too. So I feel like a lot of you are gonna want to put these a lot higher. Just be careful though, because when you have loose trucks mixed with this, it doesn't go so well when you're pushing the triggers trying to turn. Just be very gentle on the triggers if you have any kind of loose trucks, or just tighten your trucks completely. I'm going to leave these up for the next demonstration. So foot braking friction. Okay, so starting from here, I'm going to push as fast as I can. And then right at this line, I'm going to push circle on my PlayStation controller to stop. So that was the default friction. I started stopping at that line, and then I ended up just past this line right here. So starting from here again, and then I'm going to press circle right at that line. And you can see that I stopped a lot faster. So turning this all the way down, you're not going to have any friction. So it should take me a lot longer to stop. Yeah, that was quite a long time. So no friction ends all the way down there if I started from that thick line. Default friction brings you to about there. And maximum friction brings you to about here. This setting right here, I was a little bit confused at first, but it's pretty much like how sharp you're going to be able to turn on top of your truck tightness. I guess you can kind of think of it like a secondary truck tightness. So it's at default right now. I'm going to go and then just push the trigger down, turn. So I tightened my trucks as tight as they would go, and it kind of just brought me all the way down over there. Changing this to maximum. Let's see what we get here. Whoa, okay. So with maximum, there was a really sharp turn right there. Turning this all the way down, we'll see what we get. Oh, there was a curb there. So I didn't make any sharp turns. Pretty much the higher the value, the sharper the turn you can make. Lower value, less sharp. Now this one's the same thing, except it affects when you're crouching down. So on default, when I crouch down and then push the triggers, you can't really like turn too much. Changing this to maximum. So a lot more turn here. Setting it all the way to 0. you're not going to be able to turn at all. So this is going to be good when you want to wind up for your rotation and not have to worry about going left or right, which is actually a really good feature to have. I was kind of hoping they would add something like this. All right, let's get into the pop height. So your low pop height, the way that you do a low pop is simply just like a very quick flick. So a quick down on the back foot and a quick up on the front foot. So boop. And you can already kind of change like your pop height. It all depends on like how long you actually hold down the stick. But for this example, doing a low pop, just doing like one of the quickest inputs you can do for an ollie. If we change this to the lowest setting, you've become a beginner skateboarder. Set it all the way to max, and this is now your new low pop. So doing quick inputs is going to give you kind of like a medium-high ollie. I mean, that's still a pretty high ollie compared to like your max one. So by default, your maximum pop height is like just over this little circle pad right here. And you definitely wouldn't be able to make it up onto that big one. Changing your high pop height to the lowest setting, you're not going to be able to ollie that high. I think your low pop's going to be higher or better. I feel like this is one you guys really want to see. How high can we actually pop? Well, demonstrating on that, you can pop a lot higher than you could originally. So I can definitely make it up here, no problem. None whatsoever. So yeah, your max pop height is pretty high. Grind pop height, obviously, is going to be for the pops out of the grinds. So on default right now, do a little 5-0, pop out. So the pop height out of that 5-0 was about here. That was the max default pop height you can get out of a 5-0 or out of any grind. All the way at max settings, that's the pop height we get out of it. I mean, that's quite a bit higher than it was before. The more noticeable one visually is when you have it completely off. See? There was zero pop out of that. It was pretty much just like a little shift out. Manual pop heights, the exact same as grinds, except you're in a manual. We'll do a little manual here and then just pop out. So this is the default ollie out of a manual. Changing it to the lowest setting is going to give you this, which is like nothing. Very low. And then maximum setting, you're going to get this kind of height out of the pop. Oh, it was pretty high. Body rotation rate. This is fun. So on default rotation, you should be able to just 360 on flat. Like just barely. While you're rolling, you just barely make a 360 and you like kind of wrap it around without having to revert. Let's change it all the way up. So a 360 should be nothing here. It's just ridiculously fast. And then when you turn this all the way down, you're probably going to have a really hard time doing even just a 180. Okay, no, you can get some pretty nice 180s with that. I thought it was going to be a lot slower. So if you don't have any intent on doing anything other than a 180, turn that all the way down and you'll get perfect 180s every time just by pushing the trigger down as far as it'll go. And right now, this is on manual rotation. But for this next one, it has to be on either pressure, speed, or timed. So for this, I'm going to choose pressure. So body rotation friction. So this means over time, like you're eventually going to start to slow down as you're rotating. So the higher this is, the faster you're going to slow down. So let's change it all the way to 0. And I'll try to get a 540 over this. See what happens. So you can see I started to slow down right after I got to the 360. If we turn this all the way up, you slow down a lot. So I no longer got the 540. I was just slowed down way faster, and I was stuck with just getting a 360. Catch Orient speed. So this is going to be for like when you do something like a kickflip back tail. Just as an example. So I feel like a lot of people, when they want to do a kickflip back tail, they'll want to do like a kickflip first and then try to turn the back foot into the tail slide instead of using the trigger at the same time to turn them. So here's the kickflip when I caught it and then tried to input for the back tail after catching. It didn't spin all the way 90. So you would want to already be at like 90 degrees by this point right here if you were to kickflip back tail. This setting is good for if you don't want to use triggers to get into certain grinds after flipping. So if we change that all the way to the top, I should be able to get a kickflip back tail without any trigger inputs. So there was no trigger on this, at least I hope so. It could be programmed into my fingers. I don't know. There's a controller there for a reason. From what I remember, it was all the stick for that right there. So this setting pretty much just orients your board faster after you catch it to the desired angle that you're aiming for. Unless you turn this all the way off, but it's gonna be a little bit slower. Yeah, that's a lot slower actually. This setting just affects like when you catch left or right, how fast your board is gonna like 90 degree after. Okay, we're starting to get to the really interesting ones now. Flip speed. So the default flip speed is just pretty much that right there. But depending on how fast you flick your stick, you can still get some fast flips. But if you flick your stick really slowly, you can still get a slow kickflip. So that was on default. Let's just crank this up. On flat kickflip, see how many I can get. Damn, that was fast. So I'm pretty sure this was the triple flip. 1, 2, 3. Triple flip on flat. No problem. And then if I go over the set, we can get a lot more. Remember, this is on manual catch. I gotta manually catch this. Damn. All right, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Quad flip. Oh. Smooth. Yeah, I think that was a triple flip hard flip. 1, 2, 3. Yep, triple flip hard flip. All right, so changing flip speed all the way to 0. See how much I can barely kickflip here. Ooh, that was really slow. Yep. I gotta try to get a slow backside flip over this though. So that's the flip speed. Now the flip friction is gonna be the exact same idea as the body rotation friction. I'll set this to the max and then I'll just all right, that was a good double flip. So it kind of stays at like a nice slow steady pace, I guess. Let's make it no friction, and this should just be like continuous flip with no wind resistance whatsoever. So think of these like wind resistance. All right, you know what this one is, obviously. It's how you become a helicopter. Turn it all the way up. I'm just gonna go straight for it. All right, that was a lot of shoves. I'm gonna try to count them here. We got 180, 360, 540, 720, 900, 1080. Did we get 1260? We got 1440? We got a 1440. A 1440 shove. And this turn, scoop all the way down and probably not even get a 3 shove. Alright, you still get a 3 shove, but it's very slow. I think I should be able to do a really slow 3 flip. Yeah, there it is. Very slow 3 flip. I almost didn't make it. I think at this point I don't really need to explain what the scoop friction is. It's like the same kind of like it's going to slow down faster or slower. Like the wind resistance. I want to get to the sink flips and scoops. But with this off, you're able to do stuff like that. So on flat, I just did a triple flip 3 flip. And with the right combination of settings until they actually add this in the game, you can do nightmare flips. And for those who don't know what a nightmare flip is, it is a double flip varial. So my combination right now to get nice nightmare flips is flip speed to there and then scoop speed to here. But keep in mind, at the moment, it will kind of break other tricks just a little bit. And with the right setting, again, you can do a 540 flip, but I'm pretty sure that once they kind of like dial in everything to make sure that the board doesn't completely freak out, you'll be able to do it with just the controls. You won't have to go through all these. Like it'll be in the default settings. Grind friction. So think of this like your wax setting and like how much wax is on a ledge. I'm going to use this long ledge for an example. So right now I'm on default settings. We'll just get a 5-0 here. And that's where I stop. Right there at this pole. All right, let's turn it all the way up. I'll turn it all the way up right now. Think of this like not having any wax or not as much wax on the ledge. So obviously I didn't go that far. Now let's turn it all the way off. Bye-bye. And here we go. All the scooter kids were out. They were out waxing everything. And you just make it. It kind of just takes you away on a magical journey. I'm sure it'll work for a blunt slide too. Oh yeah, it works for a blunt slide, and then we'll change it over. Ooh, that was a nice cab out. Board control side impulse. So right now on default, I'm gonna try to like line up on this line right here. So if you use the pockets to pop, you're gonna pop over to the left or to the right, depending on which pocket. So there's to the left. So by default, you pop pretty far over. But if you turn that all the way up, you're now gonna pop a lot farther over. Or at least you should. Yeah, a lot farther over. So it just brings you over more left or right. Gives you more side pop. A lot more that way, a lot more that way. It's like you're playing hopscotch a little bit. And if you turn it all the way down, you're not going to pop over as far. So you're not going to go as far over. Board control extra pitch. This was another one I was a little bit confused at first because I read it too quickly at first and read pinch. Then everyone in the live stream was correcting me. But even after, I didn't know what the pitch meant. What that actually changes is how dipped down your board is or how rocketed it could be after you flip it. I'm gonna try to do like a rocketed kickflip here. It wasn't like quite rocketed, but it was more up angle than normal. So if I change this all the way up, it should be a lot more vertical. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. That's more rocket right there. That was a lot more vertical. So if you're aiming to get more like vertical tricks, that's how you do it. So I guess if you want to do a real dolphin flip, that's how you're going to get it. You kind of change that value and you'll be able to get much more noticeable dolphin flips. Yeah. I wonder though, can I do a Muska flip? You know what? It was a little bit janky. I can admit that. But that was pretty close to a Muska flip. If only the legs were spread out more sideways. I know it's not quite a Muska flip because, like, obviously the skater animation's not doing it properly, but the board is actually doing more of the illusion flip or Muska flip, whatever you want to call it. So pretty much if you want to make your tricks a lot more vertical, that's the option to change. Okay, so this one, I think the dev said it gives it like an extra scoop after you catch it or like as you're about to catch it. To be honest, I don't actually know. Okay, yeah, so when I went to catch it, it kind of assisted the scoop a little bit. I want to see what happens when I turn that off, though. All right, so there's the difference with it completely off. I was a lot more straight with that 3 shove. I don't know. That's what it changes. I can't really explain it too well because I don't 100% understand what's actually happening. Probably because I've been awake for well over 26 hours. Darkslide catch angle. So increasing this is going to make catching Darkslides a lot easier. Right now, even on default, I don't know what it is, but like, well, I was about to say I have trouble catching them as it is, and then all of a sudden I catch it. Yeah, I didn't catch it there. Ha! All right, well, I got a Darkslide there. So all this is really going to do is, you know, make it easier to catch. It kind of like opens the window up for the catch. Yeah, that's a lot easier. And yes, you will be able to Darkslide with auto catch on. You just got to do the same inputs. As the board's upside down, just do a lip slide or a board slide input. And then I guess if you want to make Darkslides pretty much impossible, you turn that off. And the last one on the list, unfortunately, right now doesn't work. Big drop max height means the higher this is set to, the higher the drop you can do without this having to be used. So if I had this enabled and I went to like ollie off something like this, I would have to do kind of like a 50-50 input, as I kind of say it, just to like brace yourself for the impact. However, if I had that enabled and I ollied from here onto this side, I wouldn't actually need to do any input because it's not high enough. So right here, you can set the maximum height before you're actually needing to do an input to land. And once this is fixed, I will, you know, be testing it out because I'm not sure exactly how high that is. Like, can I jump off that building and not have to do an input? I don't know. So that is all the advanced settings that they have in the game for now. They plan to add a lot more. This was a plan that they had like pretty much since the beginning, to be able to like customize everything to your liking, like a real simulator. So definitely expect a lot more options, especially when grabs come into play and all the mini ramp stuff. Oh man, gonna be a lot of stuff. All right, that is gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I answered a lot of your questions about the stats menu. If not, ask me in the comments and I'll see if I can get an answer for you. So until next time, this is Jail Nightmare and you'll see me in the next video.